Good evening, everyone. I do want to apologize. I do sound a little raspy, and I do apologize if I'm constantly having to stop and talk. I do have drainage going on, and I'm getting over a touch of pneumonia, so I do want to apologize. This week, we are talking about workplace well being. This week's discussion asked to describe workplace well being. Workplace well being to me is programs and activities and policies that go through and help support healthy workplace behavior. What does that mean? Workplace behavior is safety standards, how things are being done, how interactions are being done. That is the number one thing of employers that need to be taken into consideration. Workplace well-being is something to where I've had multiple jobs to where I can honestly tell you from my experience of working there, they have no idea what workplace well-being is. Yes, they know what OSHA is. OSHA goes through and they talk about safety standards. Yes, they talk about health standards, but they're talking about a different aspect compared to workplace well-being. The companies knew OSHA and they had followed their standards. But when it came to actually worrying about the employees' well-being, such as mental health and physical health, yes, they would provide you insurance. But as far as anything else, you might as well forget it. For instance, I worked at a warehouse here in town, Albertsons Warehouse. I worked there for 7 months. I have never in my life, I am 35 years old, I have never worked at a job less than 3 to 5 years. That was the first job I have ever had that I worked at for 7 months and couldn't handle it. I was a packer. At the time, for instance, I was working on EMOD on the second floor. When I was working on EMOD, I was pulling products and putting them in boxes and taping them up and putting them on the belt to go all the way around the building over to the receiving on the other side. Well, what the aisles, because it would be the products, an aisle, the belt, aisle, product. That's the way the mods were set up, top and bottom. There was 2 floors. In the aisles, there was not enough room for 2 people to pass by comfortably. I remember one time I was walking around another lady because we had little trolleys that we put the boxes on and fill them up. I was walking around a lady and my foot went underneath the trolley. Under the trolley was an open area for a track for the boxes to go to the compactor on the other side. Well, they didn't have any screenings because they left it open for you to put boxes down and kick it over and go on your job. Well, when I passed by the lady, my left foot went down into that. So in the process of my leg going down, I not only hurt my knee and my hip, but I also had my arm, my left arm, that ended up on the belt, which in turn with the belt going ended up giving me rug burns in my armpit. I went through and my supervisor seen this happen. He came up to me, told me to take a 15-minute break, meet him in the office. We would go through and file an incident report. Perfectly fine. But what wasn't fine is once I filed that report, he had me talk to their nurse over the phone. And I was advised that I could go back to work. That from how I felt and how I described it, I was perfectly capable of completing my job. That behavior in itself let me know they didn't care. They did not care about how the employees felt, their mental, physical, emotional status. They did not care. All they cared about was the top dollar and getting the products out so they could continue and move on. Now, at my current employer, I work at a call center. I am a workforce analyst. I started off as an agent. The mental stress from being a call center agent, dealing with customers all across the U.S., and doing that for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, The mental strain from that type of job, it got to the point to where I was losing my mind because there was constant questions, constant problems, which it is to be contributed with the call center. But having customers call in and you not even getting through your thank you for calling to even tell them who they were talking to, and they're already hooping and hollering and cussing you out, that puts a mental strain because you can't do nothing but continue to be professional. So, in my other discussion for this week, I had mentioned going through and having a well-being option for benefits. For what I mean by that, as well as in my other post and then in this one, the well-being option being we provide counseling, company paid counseling for agents who need to decompress and talk to someone, because we all know we all sign confidentiality agreements. We can't talk to anybody about anything that goes on outside of work. I know we sign it and say that we're not going to, but a lot of agents do. They talk to their spouses. There's times I've talked to my spouse about things. I've told him certain things, but not everything. I'm not going to lie. I've done it. As a workforce analyst in our new phone system we have, the last few weeks I've done nothing but want to go back to where we were because I hate this new program. But I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. So my husband's heard me griping about that. But he doesn't know the intricate parts and what it is and everything else. So, and now you all know. But anyway, going through and providing counselor options, having a company paid counselor who understands what we are going through and provides tips on how to deal with the mental state of how they're feeling and how to cope with it. That would be a benefit for every call center. Actually, thinking about it, it'd probably be a benefit for almost every employer to actually implement. But yes, I've worked at jobs that don't even know what workplace well-being is for employees. But I've also worked at some that have. And you can actually tell the difference between both employers and the happiness of their employees. That is one of the key factors that I suggest as being part of a benefit package. Because if it wasn't for our employees, we wouldn't have a company. Yes, we would find somebody, but our retention rates would be drastically low. We want to increase retention. We don't want to keep hiring people left and right. We want to help people grow. We want to help people succeed. And creating a workplace wellness program is actually the first step that I feel is the most vital.